Hey, so I don't have slides or anything for this one. We're just going to talk, and I want it to be super laid back for you guys too. If you have questions, if there's anything you feel like you want clarification on, like please feel free to ask. I want this to be as simple and understandable as possible. Also, I've just been so busy. I have not had time to make slides. Like my schedule has been crazy, you guys, with so many different launches and prospect calls and all of the good problems to have, right? So I just completely did not even think to make slides. But we're going to talk about the systems and why we have them, how important they are, what they do for your business, things like that. Because the thing is you could be told what to do a million times, but until you really understand why it's important, you're not going to care enough to take advice to do things, right? And so I feel like it's very important to not just say like what we do, but why we do it. So we're just going to break down each step of the systems, and then that way it's good for you guys. But also, one thing I was told at Silver Summit, I believe it was, that really stuck with me, that I feel like is a really good business tip for everybody, is that when you hear something, don't think of it as, if it's something you know already, don't think of it as like, oh, I know that, I don't need to listen. You're now being told it so that you can teach it. When you can learn to listen so that you can tell somebody else, that's when you will truly take in advice and make a difference with what you're hearing, because you can understand that, like, oh, this is really good. Let me remember that so I can go share that, and you can start duplicating that. And that is when really big things will happen, not just in business, but in your life, when you really can learn to turn it on and not just hear it for yourself, but hear it for other people. Okay. So if you're like, I know the systems, I do these things, amazing. I'm glad. Make sure you're teaching it to your team and you're telling them and you're excitedly sharing with them to do these things, because that's when it's really going to change things. Okay. So the first thing in the system is using the QIQs. Okay. That is the main thing. And there's a couple reasons for that. That should be your non-negotiable. Okay. As soon as somebody is interested, or as soon as you're asking them to check out what you do, you should be using a QIQ. Because there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's simple for you and for them, because if you don't use that and you try to explain it all yourself, answer all their questions yourself, not only is that hard on you and you're going to feel stressed out and burnt out, and nobody wants to do that over and over and over again with 100 different people. But then if the person you're talking to sees that you're explaining the whole business yourself, they will not want to be part of that, because they don't want to learn that all. They don't want to have to know all of this in order to get other people interested. That's a lot, right? So to use these QIQs, not only is it so simple and easy with time and, just all the convenience, but it also shows the people you're talking to that, like, hey, I can do that. If all I have to do when somebody's interested is get them to come to an event or to watch this video, I can do that. I can share that, right? It makes people feel confident that they can do what you are doing. And that's where that first step of duplication comes in. It's just making it easy, not just for you, but everybody. Okay. So a couple tips with that. If there is a live one, amazing. I love live events. Absolutely use them. But a tip that works really good for me, but I'll be really honest with you guys, if somebody can't come to a live one, or if you have somebody that very much just wants info now, I 100% will send them. Marielle has an 8-minute one that works so good for me. I will send them that 8-minute one. And I just straight up say, okay, can you watch this right now? Watch it. Let me know what you think, and we can talk later today. And so it puts that like time sensitivity on it, so they know it's only 8 minutes. I can even just watch this in the background, and people will watch it. And so you might get enrollments a little bit quicker. If it is somebody with a personality, like, no, I'm asking a question now, that's a really good way to kind of do that. Is you're still using the systems. You're not going out of your way to still be like, oh, okay, well, just ask me your questions. Like, no, you're still using the systems. Just give them that quick 8-minute one and be like, okay, I'm going to check in with you in a couple hours. Make sure you watched it and you can let me know what you think. Okay. So that's a really good way to still use the systems in a different situation. If you maybe have a personality that's like, well, no, I don't want to wait till tonight, or I'm not free at that time. Like, good, we're still going to use the systems. We're just going to do it right now. Does that make sense? And please ask questions, you guys. If there's anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask. I want to make sure everybody gets it. So step 1, QIQ, okay? The second step, and this is the one that is so important that I feel like a lot of people miss, okay, is when you have somebody that has watched the QIQ, okay? They've watched it. Now they come to you and they have, well, first of all, you have to make sure you're on top of follow-ups, okay? Let's back it up a little bit. Make sure you're keeping a list, okay? Anytime somebody watches a QIQ or you send one or they attend or they've even just shown interest and you've invited, like anything, make sure you're staying organized, okay? Because then it's going to be on top of you to go to them and ask how they felt about it, or, you know, what did they take away from it? Like, make sure you're staying on top of that, okay? That is your job, is being organized with the people you're talking to, okay? So let's say now you're doing your follow-ups, you're asking people what they thought about this QIQ, or they come to you and they're like, okay, that was great, and you get a question about it. This is where a lot of people go wrong, okay? Do not spend any amount of your time sitting there being like, okay, I'm going to explain this, and I'm going to answer this. Like, no, that is immediately when you say to them, that is a great question. I love that. Actually, what we should do is we should get on a call with my mentor, because she's been doing this longer. She can actually answer that for you and explain to you how we're going to launch this and how we can help you be really successful here. And you are immediately connecting them and booking that call. Okay. That is such an important step. Again, for a couple reasons. And it is not because we don't trust that you're capable of answering those questions. Even if it is a question that you know the answer to, I'm sure you could answer it. There's lots of you on here that could absolutely enroll people 100% by yourselves, right? You can. But when you do that, again, it goes back to, if they join you, they now think they need to know the answers to any question people have about these QIQs. So they still are in the mindset that they need to learn everything on this video in case people ask them questions, right? And so again, their minds are just reeling already. They think they need to know all the things. And so by doing this, it literally shows them it is okay to say you're new. It is okay to have somebody else help answer the questions. It is okay to not know everything. And it just squashes that instantly, because it literally will give them the sense of like, oh, again, I can do that. All I have to do is like use these events. And when somebody has questions, I can introduce them to somebody. Bet, like I can do that, right? It gets rid of all of that, okay? So they get on this call, and it is so powerful, again, for them to see you literally muted, not doing the work of answering all those questions and having to know all the things, that they now feel comfortable coming into this because they know they now have access to the same thing, where if somebody comes and asks them questions, they can literally introduce them to somebody and sit there on mute. Like that, hands down, will have people wanting to work with you. Because the biggest thing in this industry is people thinking that they need to know everything, and that self-doubt. And that is why most people don't make a paycheck in network marketing, because of that self-doubt before they even get anywhere, of thinking, well, I'm not as good as so-and-so, or I don't know all of this. I can't do all of that. I'm not like this person. We don't want that. And that's what this system gets rid of by showing people, we want you to connect to them with our mentor. Let us answer the questions. Show them they don't need to know it all. And that is the biggest reason for that. It's not because you can answer the questions yourself, because you can. We know you can. You guys are amazing. But it's to show them that they don't have to do that same thing. And that is going to create mass duplication in your teams when that trickles down. Then new people are connecting. They're answering questions. Their new people are introducing new people. And all of a sudden you're in momentum, because nobody is stuck and scared of doing anything, thinking that they need to run it all, right? And yes, of course, you get to a point where that means you might have a lot of calls until other people step up to do the calls as well. But what a good freaking problem to have, right? Like, would any of you actually be upset if your schedule is packed full of calls with like new prospects and people being launched? No, probably not. And if you are, and that's okay, not everybody wants to go big, and that's okay. But if that's you, you're probably also not, trying to continuously bring in new people and do all the things, right? But the fact that you're on here learning how to go big and how to use the systems properly, you obviously are in a space where you want more momentum, you want more production in your team, right? So that is the biggest thing about it. So connect them right away. Don't worry about answering any questions first and then doing it, because what happens then, if you're like, oh, I know this one, I got this one, I'll connect them after. What if they don't say anything after you answer the question? Now you're back in that stage of, oh, I have to follow up again, or I need to, now it's on me to reconnect again, because you didn't do that step right away. You might have answered a question, but that's all you got. You didn't get anywhere else from it, right? Whereas if you connect right away and they get on that call, not only is their question answered, but they're also going to hear about all the bonuses we can help them earn, how they also can just connect to a mentor and sit there on mute and use the systems, and how we're going to help them launch. And they are going to sign up, pardon my language, a hell of a lot quicker than having had that answered to them on Messenger and then eventually talking. Like, they will sign up way faster when they have a face-to-face conversation and learn that trust, that there's people here answering my questions. They're going to help me just like they're helping this person. It literally establishes so much trust before they join. And trust is huge, you guys. It's so big, because especially in network marketing, a lot of the companies don't do a lot of face-to-face. It's all that messaging, which is why this is such a big learning curve for a lot of people, because you feel like, like, I just want to do it from my phone. I'm just going to message this out. But for them to see your face and to be like, oh my gosh, this person has so much support that somebody stepped in to help, and I'm going to have access to that too. Like, it just gets all of this excitement going and all of this trust with you and the mentor, and it's just going to trickle down so far. Okay. So it's super, super important. Even if the questions seem easy, even if it's somebody do it anyways. Because another thing is if you don't, if you're thinking, okay, this one's easy, I'll just recruit them, I'll use the system with the next one. But that person now is not going to use the system either. They don't know to ask you. They don't know to get people on calls. They don't know to use the QIQs, because they were that exception that you were like, oh, I can just close this person, I'll do it the next one. But now they're not closing people. They're not introducing in people because they don't know any better. And it actually just squashed a lot of their possibilities of success, if I'm being honest. Because by taking that away from them, they now have not seen the system. They have not met the mentor. They don't have that connection that everybody else has. They don't know to connect you to people or to tell you who's interested and help you answer the questions. And so chances are they're going to try doing it on their own, and they might not close those people. And now they're discouraged. And now they're going to quit a heck of a lot faster than everybody else, because they were not mirrored the systems to. So it really does make a huge, huge difference in your business. And this is where a lot of people go wrong, if I'm being honest, is you want to use the systems. Maybe you're somebody, I've seen it before. Maybe you're somebody who even understands the system. You get this. But then in the moment, you just want to feel so proud of yourself that, like, oh, I know the answer to this one. I don't need to ask how, like, I got this. But actually, it will do more for your business if you take a breath and understand that this isn't about you. We're not telling you not to answer because we don't think you can. This is about showing them, show them what to do so that they can now have success doing the same thing. Okay. So that is a huge, huge, huge part of where a lot of people miss out on a lot of recruitments, because you don't connect immediately. And when you connect immediately, it makes a big freaking difference. Okay. So as soon as somebody has seen a QIQ, they're interested, they ask a question, or maybe they haven't even said I'm interested, but they ask a question. Connect, 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 because when they get on that call, they will leave interested. They will leave interested. Okay. So do that immediately. Okay. And next, from there, it's pretty simple because you have more support anyways. You have a support chat for this person. If they enroll, your mentor's already in there to help them enroll. They're going to help with the steps of where to go from there. Like, it's so self-explanatory from there on out, and we can still talk about it. But I just want you guys to understand that how important those first 2 steps are in order to get there. Because there's so many people that are like, I have interest, but nobody's committing. I have, or I'm doing the things, nobody's jumping in. It's probably because they have not gotten on a call. You missed that step, or you tried, but you tried too late. You answered questions first. So then you had to do that awkward follow-up of, hey, I just had an idea. Why don't we get on a call with my mentor? And they're like, no, you already answered my questions. I'm fine. You literally missed the boat on getting them on there, right? And so it's so important to do that instantly, because then it's literally the easiest way to just throw it out there. Like, that's a great question. And pretend you don't know if you want. If that's the easiest way that you feel like is most authentic, pretend you don't know the answer to the question. Great. That's an amazing question. You know what? I'd love to introduce you to my mentor who's been doing this for a heck of a lot longer. She could answer that way better than I can. When do you have like 20 minutes we could chat? It's literally that simple. It's so simple. Just don't answer the question. Because then they will get on the call, because they still want to know the answer to that question. There's something in it for them in learning this, right? So connect instantly. And then from there, it literally just goes in circles. From there, it duplicates so much when you do those things. Because if you have somebody that signs up, guess what they're going to do now? They're going to fill out the form. They're going to get on a call. Okay, that's the next thing, is as soon as somebody signs up, you're going to make that group chat, or you probably, if you're following the systems, you probably have that chat already. Little plug there. But if then you're going to go in the chat, you're going to send them the form and the video, and they're going to do that. They're going to watch it. They're going to fill it out, show you it's done. You're going to get on a call, and you're going to do the same thing again with them. You're going to use the onboarding slides, which you should all have. I know you might not all be doing your own onboardings yet, but if you're not, make that a goal for yourself, that you can come to a space where you're confident getting on Zoom with the person you enrolled and doing that onboarding with them, showing them that, yeah, you know what, I connected you to a mentor, but I'm still here. I'm still going to help you. I'm still doing the things with you, right? So make that a goal if you're not already, to do your own onboardings or helping your team with their onboardings, because that's big. Them getting to work with you right away builds such a bond with them. And they're going to see that and be like, man, this girl's here for me. She's literally helping launch everything. So it's really big. Okay. So you're going to do their launch, and it goes through all the things. It's going to explain to them, their goals, the bonuses we're going to help them earn. You're going to connect them to things, all the things, right? But the main thing is that on this onboarding, guess what they're going to see again? They're going to see a launch event where we're going to help them invite to a QIQ. And it literally all just circles. So now they're seeing firsthand, like, oh, now they're connecting things already. Oh, I saw one of those. Oh, you're going to do that for me now. Wow, this is so simple. Okay, I'll invite people. You're going to present. And it's literally just reiterating to them all the things that they've already seen you do. But it's now they understand why, and they're seeing it firsthand, and they're going to witness you actually doing it from the business standpoint, right? And it's just showing them again how simple it is, that you're going to help them invite. You're going to do the presenting. All they're going to do is probably just introduce you, thank their guests for coming, and that's it. And then from there, you have their QIQ, you launch them, you're going to help them do the same things. You're going to help them follow up with the people that came to the QIQ, ask them what they thought, ask if they have questions, and you're going to do the same thing with them. Make sure as soon as they ask questions, you are connecting them to me. Tell them exactly what I just said, that you're new. You're going to connect them to a mentor. I'm going to answer the questions. And now they get it again. They're literally seeing firsthand again, like, okay, she's answered these questions for me, just like they did when I was the prospect. Like, wow, I really can do this. They're still supporting me. I'm part of this, and they're still answering questions for me. Now they're pumped, and they believe in themselves, and they see they're winning, and you're helping them close these people. And it's literally just the same thing over and over and over again. You help them, and you do a prospect call for their people. Guess what? Their people enroll. Now you're going to do a QIQ for them. You're going to close those people. You're going to onboard them, launch them. And soon, when you can really grasp that it is literally like a 3-step circle over and over and over again, it's just going to create so much duplication on your team that you're going to have people coming to you all the time of being like, okay, I have a prospect. Okay, they signed up because of your call. We need to launch them. And like, if you want this to be like a full-time thing, not everybody does. That's okay. But if you are somebody who wants to make a lot more money, simply by you going out of your way to, 10x your actions that you're doing right now, ask people to come to QIQs, invite them to see what you're doing. And you just ask a bunch of people and they see what you're doing. It can very quickly spiral because it's just exactly those 3 steps. They see it, they have questions, they get on a call, cool, they sign up, you launch them, you get into their network, and soon they have questions, they have people launching, and it will happen for you if you're just doing those 3 steps over and over and over again and being very, very consistent in it. Because that being said, I know there is the customer side, and there's are people that come in that are like, okay, but I feel like it's probably easier to be salesy, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with the customer side. You can absolutely sign customers and you get commission, you still get the set pay. You can be in both too. But what I want you guys to see is that when you focus on the opportunity, you might still sign customers. You might have people that comes onto the QIQ and they're like, no, I'm not interested, but that collagen though, or that sleep spray, my kid needs that sleep spray. You still might sign customers along the way. Okay. But if you're giving them the choice, you are going to promote a hell of a lot faster, because it's not just you doing the work. It's you bringing in other people who want to do this with you, and their volume counts, and then their people's volume counts, and it's going to snowball way faster. You're going to make way more money. You're going to have more people coming into this, and it's just going to feel easier than if you thinking it's only about you and you're not wanting to grow your team and you're not wanting to use the systems, like it's just going to happen so much faster and more natural because it's not you doing it alone. You're teaching other people to use the support and do it as well. Okay. Does any of that give you guys like questions or confuse you or anything? Literally anything. Is there anything else you guys want me to like touch on? Can we get a call for that's a good question, honestly. For customers, the thing with that is like the calls are more for the system. And if they're truly like not wanting the business, they don't really need to be shown the system. If for customers, it really is as simple as if you want help with a conversation, sending a screenshot is probably, the easiest way to do it, to just get them the info now, try and close the sale. Because the thing is, as a customer, if they're interested in a product, they might not be interested a week from now if they haven't had the calls and the questions answered. Like, customers are more of like, if they're interested, like just try and close it as quick as you can, whereas with an ambassador, if they're truly interested in a business opportunity and working it long term, they're going to wait a day for a call. They're going to wait a day for their questions to be answered. They want to see the support. They want to build that trust, So I would say no, probably not. But feel free to absolutely ask for help through the conversation still. Yeah, Kat, unmute, go.
I'm guilty of thinking I should have to do it all. And that just comes from just life experiences. And the way you explained, by not following the system, it sets them up to not follow the system. And then there's the possibility of, and I never thought of that aspect of it. I've never heard that. So thank you for that, because that actually pinged in my brain. Like, okay, girl, it's not, because I like to do stuff for myself. I like to just do it for myself. So I felt like, oh, I don't want to bother people. Oh, I can answer these questions. I can do this. But now I see how that's not the best way, because then they don't know that that's how we can do it, and they'll get that help. So thank you. It's never been explained that way. So I appreciate it.
I was muted. No, that's so good. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm so glad that, and that's so, I'm so happy you said that, because that goes back to what I was saying at the start. Like, it might take hearing the same thing so many different ways before finally somebody just clicks. And that's why I love this summer hustle challenge that we're doing right now, you guys, I love it because it's putting so many different people in front of you guys. And that's something I am like a firm believer in, is like, you don't know who's going to say something differently that you just get, even if it's the same thing explained 5 different ways by 5 different people. Like, you don't know that little sentence that one person might say that makes a difference for somebody in your team, right? And so, yeah, no, I'm so happy you said that. Just reading the chat. Okay, yeah. Is there anything else you guys want discussed at all while we're on here? Or how are you guys feeling? Or what are you going to change? What are you going to work on in your business that you feel like now you're like, okay, I need to do this better, or I'm going to focus on this, or I'm going to set a goal of this? Yeah, game plan. I love that. Yes. What is your game plan? I'm going to shut up. Mandy, I love you. I'm going to shut up and connect. Oh, that's so good. Awesome. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I'll just leave you guys with that. And I hope that that really helps you guys and maybe helps you understand more of what to do with your teams. And game plan call. Yeah, let's book game plan calls. Actually, that's another good thing. I'm glad you said. If anybody wants a quick, like, 5 to 10 minute call to just make a plan of action of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and where you're trying to go from here, please feel free to reach out to any of us leaders and we will all get on a freaking call with you and help you map it out. So yeah, let's go. Let's end this and we can just go back to work and do the thing. So bye guys.